Yo, yo, yo! Welcome to another episode of the JoeZone podcast. Sure. I have a very special guest with me today. Me and his homie go back, and yeah, he's one of South Africa's top artists. Ladies and gentlemen, Linsey Levendall. How's it going, Linsey?
Excellent to be here, my brother. It's been years, so it's good to be back.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start at the beginning so that we can put some context, some things into context for the people out there. They might know me, but they don't know you. So, in standard 8, I think it was, or grade 10, I started doing art. Or actually, art was always a subject at our school. But in grade 10, we went to the special place, like it was called Frankie Bay Art Center, like. And at Frankie Bay Art Center, like I was doing my thing there, and I came across this guy, like, and when I met this guy, he had a massive smile on his face, like he was like, and he wasn't in the class with the other people. He was in this like wall area, like this guy, Linsey Levendall. He was in this area because there was what he was, I don't know, he was drawing this massive drawing, right? And it was two young girls, I think it was, and the one had a plane in her hand. Can you remember that drawing?
No, I remember that drawing.
You remember it?
No, I remember it clearly. Like, I mean, it was like really like intense piece of work for somebody at high school.
Yeah, so that's where I met you. Like, so we met at art school, like, and that was a while back. And then obviously we went to Technicon or so to tech together, and we had to spend a bit of time there. Like, and in that time, you were always very far above the rest. Like, and we spoke about this briefly yesterday, right? You're always like super like. You're always different, like I always picked that up that you were very different, like, and you had special talent, from your side, like we knew. I know a lot of people out there know your story, but give us like a brief before you started at Frankie Bay. Where did you start your art actually, like before that?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I mean, like, art is deeply personal kind of experience for me. I started art when I was pretty young, and obviously, like the work that I do was always kind of like I was an observer, so like the work that I was always trying to do was trying to like pick up and speak to like what I was seeing around me. Um, and yeah, like I grew up in Mandla. Which is close to Plain. And so, do you mind if I just a quick question? The sound that's reverbing.
Is there echo?
A little bit of an echo.
Can you turn it down?
Put it down.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, not a problem. I'm competing with myself a little bit.
Okay, sorry. Listen to yourself. Is that better?
That's way better. I was just competing with myself.
Okay.
Do you mind just starting that question again? Now I'll give you a proper answer. I was just struggling there for a little bit.
Okay, sorry. Were you struggling with my voice as well?
No, it was just the reverb of my own voice that was like jumping back.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, like I was saying, like we started off at Frankie Bay. That was grade 10, like where we started off. Like, where did your journey begin before that? Because I know a lot about where your journey started, but for those out there that don't know where your journey started, I just wanna put things into context for my listeners that don't know about you. Later on in the conversation, obviously we'll unpack the rest. Like,
no, for sure. Sorry. Yeah, so like I was an observer from a very young age, and so obviously being that way inclined, when you're growing up in Mitchell's Plain, you're growing up in like the Cape Flats, in between like Grassy Park, like my parents, we had family all over the place. So as a colored kid, like, I mean, we were always in these environments. And so as a young person, like, I mean, I was moved by graffiti, obviously.
Okay.
Like, I mean,
I remember.
You grow up in Mitchell's Plain, you see graffiti on the side of the road as you're on your way to church, on your way to church, you see all of these things, these people just writing and signing and stuff like that. So like for me, from a young age, like that was a powerful image. Those are powerful images to be able to see expression on the sides of the street, in the hood. So like from a very young age, like I always felt compelled to escape the harshness of the real world by using art as like this mechanism to escape a little bit, And I've been doing that for a very young age because, the second that I felt this connection with drawing, expressing myself, art in general, it was like love at first sight. So like that happened from a very young age, like at about 5, 6. And so like that being an observer, it's a good combination because there's lots to see, there's lots to process as a colored boy, growing up in Mitchell's Plain. And so art was always this kind of a way for me to question and to look at life from my view, my perspective. So yeah, like, I mean, the art is very much has been a part of me from a young age, man. Yeah. And I always knew how good it functioned for me as a person, because I always felt like no matter what was going on around me, even in high school, like high school is I mean, we all have our moments, our stories about high school and stuff like that. But even the fact that I had I had a big smile, which was like always my gateway to like making friends.
Yeah,
but
I
then also
that.
The art was also a nice way to just kind of engage with people, but I was very shy as well. So I was like, I had something cool to work with, like I could be in different group settings and use art as a way to like, bridge the gap. So I always used it in that kind of way. So, I mean, if you take all of those components together, then it becomes like a nice little soup, like there's so much elements to like why creating from a young age was important for me.
I can remember.
But yeah, like Frank Joubert was like big for me. Frank Joubert was like a big stepping stone for me. Very huge.
I can remember you were very quiet and like you mentioned quite a few times, observer. This seems to be a key word with you. Like, I'm observing as an artist. Like, you observe and then you give you maybe your own interpretation of your surroundings. It's quite interesting. So you were doing art from a young age. Like, here's a question, maybe it just popped into my head. Like, why did you choose like to study the graphic design route and not to go the fine art route from after Frank Joubert? Because you could have gone from Frank Joubert into fine art, but you chose to go the graphic design route with me and the rest of the crew in Belleville. Sure. We had some good times. In Belleville. But yeah, the question is, why did you choose to go the graphic design route and not the fine art route in studying?
Very easy, man. It's ignorance. Like, there's a lot of things that we do. We do things like, I mean, I always knew that I needed to use my creative flair, just the way that I felt strongly about creating, but like, I never grew up exposed to any creative people. And so that was the whole thing. You grew up in Mitchell's Plain, in Mandalay. The exposure to other people in similar fields are like 0 to none. So you don't have that exposure. It's hence me speaking out more vocally now about like these type of things, because back then it's like I didn't even know what graphic design was. You have a brief idea of what graphic design was, but you ideally just trying to appease this need to create. And so I chose graphic design, but like I would not have succeeded as an artist in like just going straight out of high school, studying for a little bit and then going into art. Like I wouldn't have succeeded because I've had to learn a lot. And me being like, even living abroad, like living in Canada, has given me like so much perspective on some of the moments, the periods in life that I had to experience. And so it's crazy. Like, I mean, if you just think about it. And so I chose graphic design just purely out of ignorance, because I had to use my creativity to some degree, but I didn't know how I was going to be an artist, for example. How do you express yourself? I didn't know how to do that type of thing. And so like now I know that I could have done that, but it's because of all those insecurities that one has as a, I always talk about a colored man because that's my reference point.
Insecurities, that's a good word to you were insecure.
Big one. You're insecure and you're like, everything is based on fear. Every position that you make a decision from it, with your life is based on fear. It's like, am I going to turn out like good? Am I good enough? Am I this? Am I that? And so like jumping head on into anything is tough for a colored guy. So like when you go into study, it's not just a fact of like, yeah, let's just go and study. You got to take into account like you don't have money for this. Your parents don't have money for this. You gotta like, it's a commitment. So are you committing to something that is going to be viable for you in the end? A lot of people don't have that because you're fighting demons, you're trying to study, you're trying to get something out of a career choice, but then you actually end up struggling because you just in the situation and nobody's educating you along the way to actually loosen up your thinking, how to like become a stronger individual. There's no support structures for any young and up and coming individual artist, let alone like I'm speaking on it as an artist, let alone any sphere of trying to make something of yourself. It's tough out there and it's isolated. I think so that's why, like, I mean, even for me, that's why I took my position as one which I took it very seriously because I could see so many other people not taking it as seriously, but wanting to. But the serious aspect is like where I took it upon myself that I don't see many others like me, standing for the ideals that I stand for, and also with a sense of heart for my community. And when I say community, I mean like all my brothers and sisters, like from South Africa, from these kind of difficult communities, and I only say difficult because it's just like we've got like so much handed down traumas, man. Like our trauma from our generations have just been handed over, and we keep not dealing with these type of things. And that's why, like, for me, it's like I look at my stance, man, I'm very fortunate, but how hard how focused back then, it wasn't just a matter of just I'm good at what I do. I put a lot of effort into being good at what I did, but we spoke about it yesterday. Like I don't feel like I'm doing it for myself. I feel like I'm doing it for the larger community in terms of like a benchmark of like what can be achieved, because we don't have much heroes, man. We don't have much heroes, and so we have to like lift ourselves up onto those pedestals,
You covered like a myriad of topics there that I would like to delve into. I don't know how quick it is. Like today, like do you know the rapper Ricky Rick? Yeah. So today he committed suicide. You heard about that, or allegedly committed suicide? Well, and it's such a tough thing to deal with, and he's an artist, right? And you spoke about like some of the dark times, or I heard you speak about some of the dark times, and you speak about this quite a bit, like
about it often. And I'm like, I hate to be that person to speak about it, because it's like, like a lot of people, they fixate on the positive, which is essential, but it's like there's not enough emphasis on strong men or people dealing with like fucked up issues. There isn't enough of it, man. Like, and that's why I even use my platform. I might come across like I'm whining maybe a little bit here and there, but it's like I know that I try to like vocalize a lot of emotions, because I've had 11 years away from Cape Town, away from South Africa, and what that does is like it takes you out of that. You're just the normal. And you just get to like step out of that bubble, and you get to look into it again. And so when you look into that bubble, man, you see things differently. And so like that's like what I'm trying to do now. Is like I have so much more compassion for my homies back home now, because I feel the pain. The pain is real, and we're all going through it. And it's like you just see it from household to household. I see it in my own family. I see it even within myself. Like I see all the flaws that we had to witness over the years, that our parents had to witness, that our grandparents had to witness. Like something as simple as the Group Areas Act of 1950.
Yeah.
Like that's 1950s, man. That's the other day. That's the other day. We think about it as if it was like so long ago. It's the other day. And you see the impacts of all of these things that it leaves long-lasting scars, man. Long-lasting scars. So I'm just basically hoping that like we can start dealing with some of the healing aspects of what's going on, man. Like
how do we heal? How do we heal, Linsey? How do we heal? What's the first step to healing?
You gotta like, you see, the thing is like, I mean, even that establishing a brotherhood, establishing love for one another, it starts with yourself. And that's the hardest thing, is like, when do you have time in your day to day, like to focus on yourself? Ask yourself some deep questions as to like, how do I affect change in this world? And like, how do I actually like go? And when I say like even affect change, I'm not asking, it's not about even doing big things. It was simple things. Like, how is your life a testament to like what you want to see in this world, man? And so like, I mean, even for me, I wake up early in the morning, I phone people who are struggling. And I mean, I've got a large following on Instagram. I phone random people. If I know you're struggling, I phone you and we have a life heart-to-heart chat about things. And what that does is like, it's energy that it's transferring. My good intentions gets transferred to you. And then you end up taking that good energy. You're taking it to your family. You're taking it to your kids, right? You're going to go and play with your kids. You're going to bear in mind information that you heard. And then what that does is like, it obviously sets you up. So even for me, like, I don't want people to think, oh, Linsey's just that guy who's got it made. I want people to see it. Linsey's a dude who's got it made, but he's also struggling. You know, he's also struggling. And I don't want to be struggling in silence. I don't want to be struggling in silence. And I don't want you to be struggling in silence. And so how do you just bridge the gap? So you and I as men, we don't speak about these kind of things. Or most of the men that we grow up around, it's just you man up and you just go and deal with the day's goods that comes your way, right? But when you ask me like, how do you change things? It begins with self, man. It's beginning with when you look at yourself in the mirror and you think that I'm a decent person. I'm worthy of the love. I'm worthy of respect. I'm worthy of all of these things. You take that, man, and you take that into the world in every aspect of what you do. You use that. So like even for me, I don't preach, man. Like I'm silent. I don't talk about art when I'm out in the real world. Everyone expects me to. But I'm going to actually ask you like how you're doing, you know? Mm-hmm. And so whatever interaction I get from you and I take that into my work. And so I take that into the art and then I express that and I filter that. And so like, that's me using my strength. That's my strength. It's like having a conversation with somebody, picking up what are the takeaway messages from that interaction and then filtering it through the art. And then what that art represents is like this, there's a tangible product that somebody can look at, but then somewhere in the States or in wherever, you know, like in Paraguay, wherever, I get a message from somebody that's saying, man, that piece that you just did now, it speaks so much volumes. Thank you for putting it out. Thank you for sharing that. So there's a thing that we can all be doing, but we're struggling, man. We're all struggling. So it's like increments of change, you know?
Has your art has obviously like changed over the years as views changed then with how you feeling, and so like I can just gather by what you speaking now about like even the context of what you're speaking about has changed from a long while, and I can well imagine that we all grow in different ways. It's quite interesting. Like, but I want to take you back. Like there was like good aspects to like working in graphic design, right? Like, I mean, you got to meet like rest in peace, Bishop Archbishop Desmond Tutu, am I right?
You know, it's stuff like that like gives me so much. Like I feel like I'm representing, you know, like I'm doing good for my people, because it's like moments like that with my life where I feel like I've done a fair amount of good, you know, like you even that piece.
Do you know your pictures are still on the building, eh?
I know. And I mean, that means a lot to me. It means
so every time everybody rides into Cape Town, every day they look at your art Do you know how much
It's
people
mad.
it is every day? And so
I get
things.
so much love for that, you know. It means a lot to me. It means a lot. And I mean, even when I created that piece, even the first one, the one that I did for my diva, like, I mean, like that piece I did when I came down on a holiday, man. Like I came into a holiday in South Africa, and I wasn't supposed to be like working on that project. And I literally just like worked in it because it was such an honor. But so much love and just like so much energy just went into that, man. Like, and now it's like it still generates love, you know.
Yeah,
it
it's
still
like
gives people
that's the interesting thing.
overarching.
That energy is still in that picture, and every time somebody looks at it, they consider they think of the energy of Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu. That's the interesting way of looking at it. I like that very much. Like, and yeah, that's very interesting.
No, I treat most of my work like that. I treat everything.
But I want to speak about sometimes, like, I remember you were always like this happy guy, like, yeah, smiley guy. I remember you like that at high school times. Maybe during tech times, I don't know, maybe you got your heart broken or something like that, and then maybe you dug into the dark parts of your soul or of your mind. And that was an interesting Linsey, because he changed, and then now recently, like, there was a time where I looked at your stuff and you were like your self-portraits were like super serious and like very like upset and like, almost like deranged or something like that. Like, I don't know if that's the right word, but
no, you're on.
what was that a dark time? Because you also said there was a time where you were like in the I think you had a fire or something like that.
Dude, our house was on fire like last year Christmas. And so I mean, I put the fire, I fought to fight the fire out before the firemen got here. So it's like I was working out lots. I was like trying to, and just prior to that, like, I mean, I was diagnosed with like a little bit of a personality issue. So there's that as well. And so I tried to kill myself also like last year. So
sure.
You know, so it's like that's why I get real, man. Like, I get real. Like, I talk about these things because it's like there's so many people that are going through these moments of vulnerabilities. But you see, when I grew up, we weren't allowed to speak about issues. You smile through it and you keep trudging along, right? And so when you're going through dark times, the general instinct is to just internalize. And so that's why, for me, it's very important that I want people to look at me, see that, yeah, but you're this happy guy. I'm like, yeah, I'm a happy guy, but do not be fooled by all the smiles all the time. You know, like, don't be fooled by that. And so we live in this world of perceptions, man. So like, when you perceive that like there was something maybe going on during that period, you're right. I want you to see that. I want you to see that, because I don't want you to just see happy pictures. I need to let my dog out quickly.
No worries. Ladies and gentlemen, Linsey's just letting his dog out. We're having some interesting conversations here. Check out beautiful feature wall.
Hey, yo.
Yeah.
I'm back again. But yeah, so like, I mean, I tend to like talk about these big issues, but I don't lose sight of like who I am. I'm gaining a lot more like understanding of who I am, and that's because of like even the last couple of the last year was like tumultuous for me, man. Like, so much. My dad died, so it's like the 8th of Feb was like the anniversary of him passing away. But I mean, even that, like, my mom and my dad were in the hospital together. I thought I was going to lose both of them, you know? And so my sister,
can I give you a good memory? Let me give you a good memory. Like
give me goodness, bro.
I met your dad once. I remember we met your dad once. We went to town. Your dad used to have like a office in town, like, right?
Yeah.
And we went to town for something. Me, you, and somebody else. We were shooting, taking photos or something we were doing in town. Anyway, we went to your dad's office. You took us to your dad's office. You said, just come here quickly. Let's go. Let's get, I don't know, you wanted to get something from your mom or whatever. But we went there, and it was quite cool for me because like your dad was like busy, like he's a jeweler, like, right? He's Linsey's dad's a jeweler for our guests out there, and he was like busy like doing something, like we was bent over and doing something, and I was quite interested. Like we were like all like me, and I don't know who it was, but it was quite interesting to see that, man. I mean, he had his like his area, and I'd never seen something like that before. So to see a jeweler work, and then it hit me in my head. Oh, that's where Linsey gets his fine motor skills from.
Get it from somewhere.
Yeah, he's from his dad. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that tiny little story with you.
Thanks. Like, I mean, I definitely, that's why. Yeah, like, I mean, that's why I feel like I'm doing it for my dad. You know, like I've got to show up for him. You know, that's how his legacy lives on through me. You know, in a heavy way. Because I've got like a lot of people who've been dealing with death at the moment. So it's like, that's how we deal with it, you know, like we speak about it, and the good memories is like stuff like that. But one thing that I am holding on to is like, it's the understanding of time, and it's like realizing that time is very short. And when you really grapple with death and you really like understand death, and you start looking at your agenda differently. That's why, like, even with me after this last year now, it's like I'm in a rebirth period, man. Like it's you know, like feels like the phoenix rising from the ashes, man. Like it's one of those scenarios.
This does feel like I was thinking of that today as well. I was thinking of that today as well. Like this post-COVID period does feel like a very rebirth type period, and maybe it's not a good analogy, but it feels like close to like post 1994. Remember 1994, like that time it was like almost like a gears in the air, and it almost like feels like that is coming back now slowly post-COVID. Like like you were saying, everybody, a lot of people lost people, and it wasn't fun, man, bro. That was like. And I think it was the worst because there was families like your family where both the mom and the dad was in hospital, and there's some people where they lost both. So it's terrible, man, bro. And I'm sorry that you lost your dad because
it's like this is life at the moment, you know. It's like we're grappling with all of these complexities. Like I never thought that I would have to like pay homage to like somebody like my dad in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because there's an hour service at the church, you know. There's only so much people that can speak. It's like stuff like that, man. It's like you just never ever thought that you'd see the day. Here we are, we're having to deal with it. And so, but you know what, for me is the upside is like it's a collective shift in consciousness. Like for me, that's what all of this adversity has made people think a little bit more about their next door neighbor, about somebody, the people closest to them, you know.
Dog. He's just letting his dog in again.
Yeah, sorry about that. For me, that's been like a positive. That's been a major positive. Like, I mean, connecting with people that you wouldn't have necessarily connected to, that feeling like you can't go walking outside, socializing as much. So it makes you hungry for the connections. So when you do see those people, it's like you tend to revel in it more, you know, and when you don't see them, you think deeper. So yeah, I think it's a good moment in time.
Yeah. Like even me and you.
But it's also
even terrible. Me and you, before this, we weren't speaking for a while. And like now, post-COVID is like almost like, hey, I need to reconnect with that buddy, man. We shared a special moment in time. We can't just like throw that away, you know. We were brassen for quite a period. Because we went from art school to take together, and it was like lekker, man. So yeah.
No, completely, man. And also, like, I mean, the way that you started the conversation off as well, like, I mean, I have to commend you on that as well. Because it's like, it's very easy to, like, I mean, people forget about how they were when they were younger. But like, I mean, even you apologize for certain things, which you didn't have to. But I mean, it was, I saw that as like an immense sense of growth, you know, like, and it was beautiful to experience. So I'm glad that, you know, we're all kind of climbing some sort of personal ladder in terms of progress.
I personally feel like it's like I'm going nowhere slowly, like here in South Africa, in Cape Town. But
Why
I
do you
do
feel
look
that
at
way,
the
man?
positives, like I do look at the positives, and maybe something that we can touch on or connect on is like our daughters, like
Here
how
we
much
go,
joy
man.
that has brought in our lives, like because that is like something totally out of this world, like. My daughter's got this the song that comes on the TV on the radio and she sings it and now it's like in my head it's his name is Will Linley um Miss Me. So I don't know, maybe somebody can miss me
Bust
when
out,
you're
bro. Bust
gone
this.
one day,
Yes, yeah.
when
Yes, yeah.
someday. But anyway, it's a guy from Cape Town. Anyway, it's a guy from Cape Town. I've been awkward. I'm thinking about my daughter. But it's a guy from Cape Town, right? So and he's got this pop song from on the radio. So me and her sing it. And before I came here tonight, she was like dancing around and it's like awesome in those moments, and I just think to myself, yeah, this is heaven right here. Like just spending this moment with her, you know what I
There
mean?
you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Anyway, and I
That is
saw a
that's
little
the
bit.
moment.
I saw that you share something with your daughter, like art. That must be awesome thing to share with somebody.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And you see, like for me, I also like because I got into like I tried to get into a little bit of psychology just to try and like help myself out and like try to get a better understanding of myself. But what I ended up learning more is just how to deal with children and like how to deal with my own kids. And so that has been amazing, man, because it's like everything that I wanted from an art teacher or just a guide in my life, I get to now it's up to me. I get to represent that. I get to be that now.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy that I get to sit with my daughter and see how good she is. Like only because I know I'm guiding her well. I'm guiding her really well, but she's got such a knack for an imagination. Like, and so I'm proud of my daughter, but I also know it's like it's the deficiencies that one had, man. Like I feel like I'm trying to give her what I never got. She doesn't have to turn out to be an artist one day, but I'm gonna definitely give her what I never got at a young age. Um, that's why, like, I mean, I look at my daughter now and like she's wise beyond her years, and she's only 8 years old. But I mean, it's like the stuff that comes out, the reasoning skills, and the way she expresses herself. It's like, man, it's like that's the stuff that gives me joy.
Yeah,
That's like my constant positive.
the
That's a
way
constant positive.
that's a crazy thing is like the way these youngsters express themselves. Like I don't know these youngsters, I should say, but by the way, my daughter, so she tells me about her feelings, and I'm like, yo, I hope you keep on doing that for forever and ever. Like I'm just trying to maintain that relationship so that, yeah,
That's the thing, man.
it also
That's the
helps
thing.
me
But
to
like,
try to be a better person. Like somehow, like hey, you know, like just in small
and I can
things,
say
like
for
be
sure,
kind to people, like
yeah,
she's
they're very
teaching
vigilant,
me
man.
almost in a way like tiny things, man. Like it's awesome.
It's the
Wow.
tiny things.
Yeah.
It's those tiny things that like people take for granted, man. It's those tiny things are the things that kids are actually like. They're paying attention to everything that we do, man. Everything that we do. And so, like, I mean, if you know that you have your little ones, or you an example to your little ones, man, it changes your perspective as well of how you engage with the world. You know, like, I mean, if I'm trying to, like, you know how shy I was. I'm not shy anymore because I worked on it, but at the same time, I see it coming through in my daughter. But then I know how to equip her now with kind of skills to like deal with anxiety with people and stuff like that. And it's crazy to see her put it into action, no? And then for me, it's like that in turn is a Musa lesson for me, because it's like, yo, if my lighty can do it so easily, then I can do it, you know? I have to do it. I've got to get over my anger. I got to get over my frustration.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, that thing, man, you and I know, you grow up in certain environments, lashing out comes easy, man.
Yeah.
Because you and I didn't have that ability to like talk about our feelings.
Yeah.
Our feelings, they bubble up inside of us and then they just come out. They come out and they come out volt, man. Like it doesn't necessarily come out in the way that we would like them to.
Yeah. Or like
So I
yesterday
think that's what
we spoke about.
daughter just like changes shit up a little bit.
Yeah, yesterday we spoke about it, the way it comes out, and maybe it doesn't come out in the form of bullying, but it comes out like first bullying, but it comes out in the way of like putting somebody else down in a way, or you know what I mean, like being
Totally.
like just not liquor with somebody else. And sometimes you know what, it's not like for me. I told you yesterday. Sometimes like I felt like people, because you were so far ahead of the curve before everybody else, I felt that like for me, from my perspective, I don't know about everybody else's perspective, but it's almost like, yo, there's a little bit of jealousy there, man. And that's natural.
Big time.
That's natural if
That's
somebody
so
is like
natural.
better than you to be jealous at, right? But at a young age, I didn't recognize that jealousy. But instead, I like made like sarcastic remarks or like snide remarks towards you or something like that. And that in itself is a form of bullying, because I'm only one person doing this to you. Imagine there's 30 other people in the class also giving
No,
you
for
like
sure.
these marks. That is a
For
form of
sure.
bullying, you know what I mean? So in a big way, because at the end of the day, you go home and you're like, yo, fuck, there's a load on my shoulder. And so
And it was. I'll be honest. It was a load, man. Because that's the thing. We don't reward anyone that's good, man. When we see somebody that's good, it's a
especially in our
reflection.
neighborhoods.
In our neighborhoods, if you're succeeding, if you're doing well, it's the haters, you know. It's not that they're hating, it's the reflection. It's like it puts them on a spot, you know, like it makes them feel uncomfortable about themselves, you know, and sometimes that's how people feel. So I mean, I get that. That's why I mean, even for me, I got resentment from even family members, bruh. You know, just because it's like, but you pull your face like that. But it's the same
Family
thing. It's
members.
like you got cousins, you know, that isn't
Oh, yeah.
doing so well. You got mates like that, you know, that you the cousin that's maybe winning an award here or there. And the other mates, and now you think you're quiet. You think you're this, you think you're that.
Ah,
And that's such it's
those
such a
remarks.
signifier of like a broken community, man. It's like for me, I'm glad that there's a lot of things I experienced when I was younger, high school, all of these things, bruh. But like, I'm glad that I've processed all of those things. That's why even when you apologize and all those kind of things, bruh, which you didn't even have to, I was already over, you know, those moments were already like, they functioned, they did what they had to do. I had to learn from them. And now it's like, we're on to the next. But yeah, it's quite a journey, man. It's quite a journey.
Yo, Linsey. Yo, we covered so many topics here. It's like, and I got so many
Good,
else
man.
to cover. I got so much other conversations to have with you. Like, obviously, you know, because of technical difficulties, we don't have 2 or 3 hours, which I would like to have with you. So I just wanted to mention the time might be coming to an end soon. But do you know I still chill with Angelo quite a bit?
Sure.
I'll
Saying that, look here, you know, like it's that kind of thing. Angelo comes a very long way with me. I need to connect with that homie, man. I got
you
a
need to,
special place
yeah.
in my heart.
Our daughters actually know each other and stuff like that, so it's quite cool to have a relationship so with somebody that you know so long.
Amazing.
You know what I mean? It's unfortunate we don't get to
Those
always
kind of
see each
things,
other.
man.
It's unfortunate we don't get to see each other like all the time, but I still communicate with him. Yeah, it's lekker to have Brassem, and yeah, yeah, we should all connect the dots, like whatever happened in the past, you know. Yeah, we're learning now, we're learning from that, and we can hopefully teach our kids like better.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Look, we crammed a lot into like an hour here, right? Like, I mean, that's why I have verbal diarrhea, because like I feel like I've got to say a few, bro. I've got to say a few things because time is very limited, right? Like, I mean, yeah, we got an hour to like spit some, you know. So it's like it's crazy that like you have to cover big issues in such a short space of time. But let's keep it alive in the real world, man. Keep it alive in the real world. When you have conversations with people, bring it home, man, bro. Keep it real. You know, keep it real. Have some difficult conversations. That's like for your listeners, even like seriously. Have some big conversations with the people closest to you. Talk. Don't take things for granted. Talk and analyze what have you felt over the years. How can you get over it? Because to keep continually like, fixating on what has hurt you before and what's continually hurting you right now, it's stopping you from achieving your absolute best that you can, present this world with, man. So it's like our energy it's caught up in all of this animosity and weird hating on each other. So it's really essential that like people step out of the bubble a little bit, look outside subjectively at your situation and try and really find simple solutions. Conversation, simple solutions, saying sorry, getting over a big chunk of your life,
That's what it's about, man, bro. That's what it's about. Somebody told me the other day, like, Ryan, you're doing this podcasting for so long. I thought you'd be making money already. And they like made this like comment to me, and I felt like, and I just looked at him first, and I was like, I'm not, man. And then I walked away, and then I actually went back to them, and I said, you know what? It's not about that, man. It's about the conversations that I've had before is worth more than money to me. Like, just
There
having
you
to
go.
interact. There was a guy I had on, a professional boxer. He's boxing actually tomorrow. He was at 28. He murdered somebody. He was in jail. He boxed. He fought. He became a professional boxer. He rehabilitated himself. He then went out into the world and going to go forward for a title. He came to speak on my podcast. This is a brah from Brooklyn. In there. But anyway, just to have that conversation and to have this conversation with you also, like, just to have this conversation, that is the real value, man. People must stop valuing other gooders. Like, the real value is good conversation and having lekker things and trying to pass that positive energy on. That is the real shit.
Yeah, our cultures have always handed down stories, my bro. We're a story-based culture. Like, I mean, history's been handed down through stories and stuff like that. And so like now it's like it's a profound time, like even podcasts, my bro. It's about conversation, right? Connecting, hearing people's stories. But like you said, that brother's asking about the money. They're like, are you making money? It's very signifying of the emptiness that we're living in this world. Everything has to have some sort of monetary sort of value to it before it has some sort of meaning. As I'm saying, dude, like, I'm helping out another colored homie because I know he's got a podcast. I want you to shine. I know that there is some sort of my followers or people that resonate with me could potentially resonate with you. And so it's like, it's that kind of thing. I don't want to fucking get paid for this shit. Like, I mean, I could, but I don't want to, because it's like, I know that this might catapult you eventually. That these kind of conversations are like, they're your personal trajectory as well. And the more you build this catalog of like conversations with all these people, dude, you're going to have such a wide array of like important conversations. But it's like, you're in the rough stage of refining your product. There's a beginning stage for everything. And you are just also in that beginning stage of like beginning to flourish, right? And you're doing something that is a passion. And eventually, like, when you throw the right amount of energy, the right amount of like personal capacity behind something, shit's gonna happen for you, bruh. It'll happen for you, but it will happen because you are manifesting it and you are in the right mind frame, mindset to be able to, even when you get it in your hands, you know what to do with it. So like, yeah, you're figuring shit out, technical difficulties here and there, all these little issues here and there. Like, you're gonna eventually just have a nice, smooth running machine. But for now, this is where the learning comes in. And this is where the journey of like appreciating the journey. This is the moments where like appreciating the journey is vital, bro. It's everything, homie. I want you to shine, homie.
I appreciate that, man.
Around you, shine.
I also appreciate that. I just want to read out something here. The two of our guests in Zena Martin. I don't know if you can remember. She says respect.
Oh, Zena.
And then Cindy Vitboy says, thank you for creating a platform to have these candid and uncomfortable conversations. Yeah, these uncomfortable conversations that we're having, like that we're having, it's awkward. It's awkward, and tonight you're gonna chill, and I'm gonna reflect on it a bit, and I feel a bit more awkward. But it's okay, man.
That is like where all the meat of like thinking happens. When you're just meeting and you're having all this, how you doing? Fine, move on. No, you're going to have stuff to marinate. And when you marinate, you're putting yourself into a space where you're actually like deeply thinking about things, bruh. And what you're going to learn from all of these conversations, meditate on it afterwards. Meditate on it afterwards, because it's like people are giving you like gems here, right? But those gems are not only for your listeners, they're for you too. So like, I mean, it's really, everyone can take something away from it. Even for me, I thought I was nervous. Like I'm gonna like, you know, fumble up my words and stuff like that this morning. But it's like, I'm glad that things got sorted out, and now we ended up having like a good conversation, man. It wasn't just like art related. This is exactly how I want to speak, man. Like, so
no, this is what the podcast is about. It's just having like a good conversation. I just feel where you want to go to, and yeah, I'm glad we covered everything that I wanted to cover, and yeah, and I think we did it justice. So we're almost gonna wrap up now, like. Please follow Linsey on I'm gonna you know, there was people were like asking about you. Oh, is Linsey coming on? Like there's so much people in Cape Town that know about your stuff, and they so you do have
I wanna, like if I come down to South Africa, like I mean I'll send out, you know, like the heads up to everyone. So because I do when I come back to South Africa, wouldn't mind, you know, giving a lot back, you know, to when I say my people, it's just like anybody in South Africa, like, you know, I just want to give back, like help raise the bar a little bit.
Shut, man. Tomorrow night I got this tomorrow night I got this illustrator on, Raz Arnold.
Okay.
You might not know about him, but he's a big fan of yours. Yeah, so I'm just promoting everybody, the high level artists, the in between artists, the illustrators, and yeah, having like a conversation.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Like, I mean, I like, even for me, like there's a lot of people with like the younger guys, they're like, they all a little bit intimidated to maybe reach out and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm the same with everybody. It's like once you get like an inroad with me, like I'll treat you exactly the same with love, respect. I'll teach you some stuff. I'll give you some tips. So like even with your homies, if you know that there's people that are hungry and they need some upliftment, man, so they need to just, you know, they may be stuck in a funk and they need to like maybe get out of it. Send them my way, man. Send them my way.
I will do, bro.
Not just every Tom, Dick, and Harry though. Like it really has to, like, I mean,
I won't send you every Tom, Dick, and Harry. I'll send you legit.
Even though I don't mind helping, it's just, you know, time is.
Yeah, I mean, family time is important, bruh. Family time is important. That's why I'd like to thank you for your time tonight. Like that's how I always say to my days, thank you for your time, bro. Thank you for giving me of your time. Thank you for giving me of your knowledge. Shot me, bro. We're gonna have another conversation, like maybe in maybe in a year's time, or maybe in a few months. I don't know. We see how it goes. Because yeah, maybe something comes up. But maybe you even come to South Africa and you can come sit in studio with me.
Now I mean, there's those kind of things, you know. Like I mean, make it a little bit more. Maybe I do a mural there at the back there while we.
Woo! Okay, shot, man. Thank you, Linsey. I'll chat to you later on the Instagram or something like that.
Even you're in a team over there. Like, I mean, you guys are doing good work, man. Like, keep it going. Don't be discouraged, even though like the world might maybe be against you at times or feel like it's against you. Just keep shining, brother.
Oh, shot for that message, man. Shot, we needed that. Peace out,
I know you guys are doing great work. So keep it going, brother.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Say, buddy. Yo, guys, stellar show. Thank you for joining us tonight, guys. Yo, it's an awesome show. I'm back tomorrow. I'm back tomorrow with Raz Arnold. So please tune, like, share, subscribe. I'm still thinking about this dope conversation that I had here. We got the female podcast also coming up soon. So yeah. So the 1st of March, lots and lots of dope guests in store for us. Thank you, everybody, man. Peace. We out.